The lunar eclipse in Pisces taking place on September 18, 2024 is an opportunity for us to get into boundaries, values, personal self-worth, and emotional well-being. It's a true opportunity to really discover who we truly are and what our purpose is in this life. How are we supposed to be of service in our lives? This also talks about being too passive in our lives for various reasons of not setting boundaries, but on the other end, forgetting the magic of why we're truly here and why we truly incarnated on this earth to flow with life, to be a spiritual being in a human body, to co-create our reality. We can fall asleep at the wheel and forget that we are a part of spirit, that we're all one, that we're all interconnected. That's just a little taste of what I'm going to be discussing when I talk about the lunar eclipse that's happening at 25 degrees of Virgo in Pisces. The sun and moon are forming an opposition, meaning that it is a full moon. So let's get into it because there's a lot that I want to talk about. The very first thing is that if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to my channel, then I recommend that you do that, because I offer these videos that I do every 2 to 3 days on the astrology, and I pull oracle cards for the energies of each day that I discuss with the astrology. And also you can hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. All right, so let's get into it. Eclipses are times of significant change and transformation. Even though the nodes of the moon are still in Aries and Libra, there is the very first eclipse occurring in Pisces. Don't let it trip you up. This took me a while for myself to believe and to come to terms with. That the moon has to be 17 degrees in an opposition or a conjunction to a node for either the south node or the north node for there to be um, an eclipse with the sun, and aligning in a certain way with that. So eclipses are times of huge change and transformations. Lunar eclipses represent major culminations, major emotions rising to the surface, major endings. This is a time of closure and completion. We may be feeling a lot of intense emotional energies at this time. That may be possible. This is about connecting to a feminine energy. This is about connecting to where we have a heightening of emotions and your intuition are both heightened at this time. This talks about creating significant change in your life. This is what this is about. It's about, what do you want to do to shake up your life? What do you want to do to alter your life around so that it's more productive and that it serves your soul at a higher level? This is a time to move yourself away from any stagnant pattern. So if you're stagnant in a particular area of life, if you are stuck and you're not taking the action steps to change and release what you need to, the universe could come upon you and really urge you and beg you and implore you to change whatever area of life needs changing. And so this could also be disruptive forward motion as well. Um, and so this is a time to release whatever you need to release, whatever doesn't serve your soul anymore. This is about breaking the wall between you and your highest vision, and what your vision is, what your future outlook is on life. Whatever it is, hold that vision and move closer to that vision. And that may require you to change and let go of some things. You have to be willing to embody the guidance that your guides are telling you, be available for that guidance, and be available to your higher self and what it is sort of pulling you in whatever direction. Also be available to your intuition, whatever direction that it pulls you into as well. This is about giving yourself time to process whatever you need to, going into replenishment, going into reflection, and really do what they say on planes, so you put your oxygen mask on first before you help other people. Go to that wishing well and, go into that state of healing yourself and restoring and regenerating your energy so that you can harness your power in your life. And Virgo is about your personal power to make decisions and act as a co-creator of your life. So the Virgo Pisces axis is a deeply spiritual axis. And so this is all about expanding your dreams. Um, Expanding your dreams. Pisces says that anything is possible, even the impossible. That's Pisces, is everything is possible. This is about connecting with the all, knowing that we're all interconnected with each other. We're all connected. We're all one. We're all in this together. Waters bring us together. Land separates us, that kind of thing. Um, if you want to work with the energy of water, then I recommend ordering the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and that deck can really help give you guidance as to really looking at the waters of the world and giving you wisdom that you can sort of put in your rucksack for life. When you pull a card from that deck, I definitely recommend getting that because it's very Piscean, it's very watery, it's very deep and feminine emotional deck to use. And so this is a time to be more spiritual, to have a spiritual practice. This has been the lesson of Saturn and Pisces. To have a spiritual discipline, to have a legitimacy of the spiritual world. If you don't have a spiritual practice, this moon could illuminate that, where you haven't done your spiritual work. I have a spiritual practice of every single day for 40 days. I'm going to pull an oracle card or two oracle cards and journal about that card and what it means for me. And I think I might do that for many, many days of my life, probably the rest of my life, because it's so healing and it's such a safe haven and it's such a outlet of hope and it gives meaningful guidance. It definitely does. So you can buy, I actually have it here, and I want to recommend a resource to you, Colette Baron Reid's Oracle Card Journal that I have. I started writing in it. Let me just show you what it looks like here. I've started writing in it. I've started working with it. And so I just want to show you. It has a big introduction to it. I'm not going to walk through every little detail with you, but I do want to show you the format of this. So you put your date, you put your location, what the card means for you, the first impressions of what you gather intuitively from the card, setting and reflecting on that image, the definition of the card, and then over here you talk about how it applies to your life and what action steps that you need to act upon and embody when you pull the card. And it is a 40-day process of pulling Oracle cards and journaling with it. So if you're interested, you can go to Amazon.com and put in the Oracle card journal, and then it should come up by Colette Baron Reid. So that's something that I recommend getting and having a spiritual practice, whether that be yoga, meditation, breath work, qigong, going outside in nature, praying, whatever it is. This eclipse is also a supermoon, meaning that the moon will be closer to the Earth. Therefore, we're feeling more emotional. The emotions are closer to us. They're really, really rising to the surface in a really, really huge way for us. We're feeling our emotions much more potently, much more powerfully, um, in a huger, more expansive way. And so, this talks about, probably we're exploring our inner consciousness at a deeper level. Know that you're a soul living a human experience, that you're infinitely connected to the universe. Pisces and Virgo are feminine signs, meaning that they're very receptive signs. Both of them can be healers in each of their different ways. Virgo is more about the practical lotions and potions and the medications and the things for your physical and mental well-being. And Pisces is about spiritual service, spiritual healing, soul healing, that kind of thing. And so Pisces is interconnectedness, and Virgo rules boundaries in astrology. Virgo has boundaries. Virgo is very discerning. Virgo can be rigid at its worst. Virgo can be super discerning, and it can have too many boundaries inside of it. Pisces as a sign, it takes on no shape. It's like water. It takes on the shape of whatever it goes in, whatever container it goes into. It can go with the flow too much. And when it goes into the flow too much, when it goes with the flow too much, when it surrenders too much, when it's too passive and it's to the point where you fall into victim consciousness. So you're feeling powerless against the world. You feel like you can't create anything, you can't decision, you can't act, you can't change something. So that's sort of a negative vibration of Pisces. Virgo, on the other hand, can be too rigid and controlling over life, wanting to control the outcomes, wanting to make a plan, a backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan. And it's about really having a lot of control over what you need to do in your life, like the basic 1, 2, 3, the things I need to do in the morning, and the whole thing. Virgo had to have certainty, security, and control over the physical realm. And because of this, it can lose the magic of life, and lose the serendipity and the synchronicity of life, of trusting the universe and being open to what the universe has to provide. And Virgo can also be perfectionism, not having self-love, not having self-acceptance for who you are, not being grateful for the person that you are at the present time, um, and knowing that you are enough. That's something that Virgo needs to learn, is that you are enough as you are. Virgo at its high vibration is about evolution and self-improvement. So when we're too caught up in the negative sides of Virgo energy, we leave little room for the imagination and the impossible. We leave little room for spontaneity, for trusting our intuition, for going wherever the wind takes us, for changeability by our emotions when we're too much in the shadow of Virgo. So we can forget that we are co-creators of our lives with the divine. We lose sight of surrendering to the great mystery, trusting the great mystery of life. This is a time where you want to set aside time for self-care. That's going to be huge, whatever it is for you. And let your intuition guide you to the right place as well. Because your intuition is your inner knowing. It's the wise part of you that knows this is where I should be going, and this is where I shouldn't be going, and what feels right for you, and all those kind of things like that. So we have to be okay with not um needing to have all the answers all the time, 24/7. It's okay not to have all the answers. We're not going to have all the answers. And so it's about being curious to the surprises of life. When we're in the low vibration of Pisces, we become overly sensitive to others. We lack boundaries and become overly empathetic, and we take on other people's pain. We're just swamped in the energy. We're pulled down, we're drained. And so we lose sight of logically observing our emotions, and instead we get caught in them as opposed to just objectively feeling them, objectively looking at them and making sound decisions based off of what we observe. This can also be a lack of discernment as well. And when we're in the low side of Pisces energy, we leave behind the power to create our lives. We forget to evolve ourselves to heal as well. We forget about our intentions. So knowing what our intentions are, knowing what we want to intend, what we want to set upon and act upon and put out into the universe. So we lose sight of our intentions. It can go as far as that. And so this can be when you meditate, you can gain insights into higher consciousness. This is about before responding to something, give it space, think about it, sit on it, meditate on it, reflect on it before you answer, before, if you're given a question, if you're given something to talk about or discuss. This is about being centered and grounded in your energy. This is also a time where you want to create strong boundaries as well. Observe your emotions, don't react to them. This is a time to focus on the present moment and not get caught in past traumas. And where do you need to trust more? Trust the universe more. Where do you need to surrender your life and act from your intuition? Trust your intuition. That's huge with this. Moving on, we have the moon coming into a sextile with Uranus. So when the moon sextile Uranus, this can bring about changes and stimulation to your personal life. Things are changing up. There's a lot of events happening. There's this, there's that, there's over there. It's a lot happening. It's a lot of excitement. This is about acting on your intuition and trusting your instincts. This is also a good time to find original ways of doing things, because of you having an inventive nature to you, of innovating, finding new ways to go about doing things in your life and experimenting with those things. Make a mess and clean it up later, not being afraid to get messy. You can have chance encounters in your life, and these chance encounters, people can present you with very valuable information for you to evolve, for you to grow, suggestions, for you to become a better person, so be open to those things. Women could also provide a lot of opportunities for us, so it's important to be open to that. It's also important to embrace your quirky, your unique side, the part of you that stands apart from the crowd, that stands apart from everybody else, that does not want to follow, that doesn't want to go along with the ways of doing things that we all know is what life is. So this really comes down to this kind of thing. And so you also want to get together in groups. Um, to create social change. That's another way that you can use energy to get into groups and create changes in your life. We sort of have a Debbie Downer aspect of Mercury coming into an opposition with Saturn. So when Mercury is opposite Saturn, our thinking becomes more serious, but also more pessimistic and negative. We can have poor self-esteem and there can be difficulties in communication. We may want to study alone as opposed to studying with others, doing things solo, doing our work independently solo, not a very social time, not a time where we want to interact and collaborate with others. Bad news could arise in the media or in your personal life. So, and you may also see the worst in every situation. That's the negative side of this, seeing the negatives in situations as opposed to seeing the glass half full. And so you want to make decisions carefully and deliberately. You want to make sure you have all the details right. You want to make sure you're looking at both the positives and negative side of things, all sides of things, before you make decisions. The moon is also going to conjunct Neptune. So this can open up our imagination and emotions. We may also get deluded at this time. We get caught up in deception and illusion. Dreams can turn into fantasies, so it's important to ground ourselves to manifest those dreams that we have into our reality. This is also a time where becoming more artistic is good. Painting, writing, poetry, um, grass painting, light building. Maybe it's building a table, or maybe it's building a bed, or maybe it's cooking. Whatever is creative, whatever is has an artistic element to it. This is good to do at this time. On the negative side, we can also be more susceptible to getting caught in the addictions of drugs and alcohol. So we need to be remembering of this. We need to be mindful of this, not to get caught up and addicted to certain things where we're not seeing it, objectively, where we're not moderating ourselves and not, allowing ourselves to have it, but we need to allow ourselves to indulge in things in order to moderate what we need to indulge in. But drugs and alcohol is an absolute no-no. And so we need to um, just not give in to those types of things. And so this is about awakening to your higher spiritual self. Your dreams may be more vivid at this time. It's good to have a dream journal and journal about your dreams when you wake up. Your empathy for others may be heightened at this time, so it's good to be compassionate and loving and caring with others. This is good for any kind of self-care. Anything in the self-care world, this is great for that. Um, and so this makes it easier to express love and our emotions more openly and freely. Now we have the moon coming into a sextile with Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn and Pisces. The moon's in Pisces, Pluto's in Capricorn. So this is about having deeper and more profound connections with another. This is about processing deeply buried fears and traumas that we may have over past experiences and events in our life. So we can allow space for processing these things. This is about transforming your life in reality. This is also about getting rid of habits that don't serve your highest good. If there's any negative habit pattern that's not healthy for you that you need to break, now is the time to break it. We can also look to our powerful instincts and intuition for answers and guidance on which way to go and what to do. This is good for probing beneath the surface of things and cutting right to the truth of situations, to get down to the bottom of something and find the true meaning and the true purpose and the true answers and the true evidence of that particular thing. Um, so this talks about really digging deep within the earth to find that buried treasure hidden down below. And so our intuition can also help us unravel any challenges that we have in our life. This is about going below the surface and dealing with emotional and psychological issues that you may be having on a personal level. Any grief and insecurities may also be pulled up at this time, so it's good to be mindful of that. And any kind of thing where you're emotionally recharging your batteries, emotionally replenishing yourself, recharging, getting emotionally put back together, if you will. Um, so then another aspect that we have going on today is that the moon will conjunct the North Node in Aries. So at this time, your intuition may be heightened. You may be receiving future visions for yourself, where you want to live a different life other than the life that you're currently living. This is about following your intuition toward your higher potential and purpose, wherever that points you. This can also be learning from karma, healing karma, and past wounds and past pain, and learning the lessons from those past traumas, those past pain, and what it has to teach us. This is also about trusting the insights that arise from you within. If your intuition or your guides are giving you an insight, be available for it and choose to embody that if you feel so called to do so. Um, and so your inner values may align with social ideas and trends at this time. And it's important to align your emotions with your deeper unconscious. The moon will also square Mars. So, when the moon is square Mars, we're more likely to get into accidents. We're more accident prone at this time. This can be an aspect of irritability, anger, and frustration that we may be feeling. There is a really, really insatiable desire here to go after your desires, to fulfill whatever, desire that you want to in a way that's destructive, that's forward moving, that's, all in or not in at all. Um, that is, 100 per, 1,000% in. That we're not having balance, that we're not receiving enough, we're not tapping into our feminine enough. And that it can hurt our relationships if we were to plunge all into a certain goal that may cost us a relationship in our life because it's a negative aspect. We're not allowing time to sit and enjoy the present moment with a partner, with somebody in our life. This is about having these intense emotions that you have, but choosing to express them in a controlled and mature way. This is about asserting yourself, not being aggressive. Um, this is about threats in your relationship that may happen, jealousy and possessiveness in relationships. That can also be another area with this. You also want to avoid manipulation in your relationships as well. Avoid manipulating the person or giving in when that person is manipulating you and recognizing when they're manipulating you. This is a good time to release any kind of pent-up frustrations that you may have for any area of your life. This is a time to slow down and process your emotions instead of reacting to them. So sit with them, reflect on them, meditate on them. And once you sit with that feeling and you can make a logical decision and you can respond to whatever you feel on an emotional level. The moon will also oppose Lilith. So when the moon is opposite Lilith, your emotional and instinctual side can be at odds with your need for freedom and independence. This can be that unresolved anger from the past of a certain situation that you've had where you became angry, you became frustrated, you became all in the pits of something, that you became embroiled with that thing. Whatever it is, that unresolved anger could propel you in your actions in your life. Um, and so emotions may rule your choice making and your decision making. And so you might not be completely aware of your rage and angry feelings at this time. Maybe it's certain insecurities that you have. For example, I have the insecurity that my foot may have touched my oracle cards, when in fact, if it did touch it, I would know. And so this may be also misguided insecurities and decisions. And so I'm also insecure about the fact that someone may touch my cards, but I would know if they would because they would tell me if they did or not. So they're perfectly fine. This can be reacting impulsively based on emotion, based on our feelings, and our emotional nature, and not rising into the head with that. And really having a logical, more observant view of things to then act upon it, viewing it from a higher perspective. There's a strong need for independence here. You may be resistant to your home and family at this time. Your intuitions, your emotions also may be more volatile at this time. This also talks about emotional reactivity. You may be more susceptible also to those who emotionally pull you down and drain you. You may be more emotionally affected by that. So it's good to have healthy boundaries and take care of yourself and distance yourself from those people. So I pulled a card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, Alberto Villoldo, and Marcelo Lobos. And the card that I pulled were asked the question, what does the collective need to know on September 18th, 2024? And I got the Ancient Ones, as you can see. So I'm going to read to you the essence of the card so you can get a general understanding as to what the card is about. So this is what it says. The Ancient Ones are the shamans of old who defeated death and escaped from the tyranny of time. The Ancient Ones once walked the earth like us in flesh and bone. Now they reside in infinity and can counsel us after we say yes to our calling. They are available to help us attain our full realization. So we need to remember our purpose in this lifetime. Remember why we signed up in the first place, why our soul was in a line of many, many souls, and we got chosen to be here to live this human experience. And so we need to remember why we're here, what our true calling is, what our true destiny is. And so this is about going after your goals in your life, pursuing those goals. This is about lighting yourself on fire and being true to yourself. Um, this is also about remembering your soul calling. This card invites you to think about who do you want to be in your future? What is the version of you that you want to be? Who is the person that you want to be? What is the person that you want to be in your future? 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 6 years from now, and take those action steps to move yourself towards that higher vision that you have. This is about stepping into your power and truly feeling what you feel called to do, what you feel called to study, what you feel called to learn about, what you feel called to achieve. Know that you have unlimited spiritual resources right now. And it's okay to have multiple projects that you're doing at one time, multiple things that you're doing, multiple paths that you're going on, multiple things that you're doing because you're being called in many different directions. Because this is an aspect where it can be really positive, where you can have a lot of callings, a lot of interests, a lot of passions, and you can do multiple different things at one time. So don't limit yourself to only one thing if you want to do other things. Open yourself up and go in all the directions that you want to go in your life, pursuing your passions day by day. I want to move on to September 19th. So we have the sun coming into a trine with Uranus on this day. So this brings about open-mindedness and adventurousness. That's what this can be. You're feeling more open-minded. You're feeling like you want to travel, like you want to go on an adventure. Like you want to go somewhere that you've never gone before and do something spontaneous. So this is good also for initiating things that come from new ideas. Whatever new ideas that you have for your life, this is the time to to initiate those things and start those things. You may have flashes of insight from your intuition as well. And so this is also great for having greater self-awareness and confidence in yourself. You're feeling more confident. You're feeling more strong within yourself. You're feeling like expressing your unique creative side can actually work for your benefits. Now's the time to stand up from the crowd in that way. This can also bring about unexpected and positive sudden change in your life. You may feel like trying something new and original that's outside your routine, so it's good to do that. This is also good for taking risks and making changes that you want in your life, that you want to change a certain aspect of your life. You may be more inclined to meet unusual people from different backgrounds of your own, different cultural backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds, and this is good for thinking outside of the box in general. We also have the moon coming into a sextile with Jupiter. So the moon is in Aries, Jupiter is in Gemini. So this represents good fortune, faith in the future. We're feeling more hopeful. We're feeling more optimistic about the future. This is about having understanding and cooperation for others. Religious and businesses may be big areas, which may have valuable resources in them. Friendships are likely to be more genuine at this time, more heartfelt, more true. You may also have a more philosophical outlook on life at this time. This is good for using your perceptive skills to benefit communities, family, and your loved ones in general. Your empathetic skills of tuning into what they're feeling, what they're going through. This can also bring about extreme generosity as well. So you're really giving off your generous side into this transit. Then we have the moon coming, Mars squaring Lilith. So Mars is in Cancer, Lilith is in Aries. So this can be a clash between your assertive drive and your deeper instinctual desires. What beliefs hinder you and hold you back from going after your desires? Am I too skinny, too inexperienced, too unfit, too unprepared, too unmodeled? You know, whatever the belief is that keeps you going after your desires, now's the time to let go of those beliefs. Now's the time to really look at the deep, shadowy aspects of yourself and follow your desire for freedom and independence. This is about integrating the hidden aspects of yourself. This is what this can be about as well. Um, this is also about finding healthy outlets for your passions, whatever it may be, and break free from any limitations in any limiting circumstance. Finally, we have the moon opposing Venus. So when the moon in Aries opposes Venus in Libra, we may feel more loving and affection under this transit. However, this can cause tension in relationships. Maybe it becomes more difficult to be warm and affectionate towards your partner, towards your loved one. There may be differences between partners as well. Feelings, needs, and expectations, and what is given and received in your relationship. This is important to consider. Consider the person's feelings and needs and expectations, and what you need to give and receive in your relationships. This can also create possessiveness in your relationships, insecurity, and boredom. So be mindful of these things. And so this can also be love that's not deep, but it's shallow. It's superficial love, it's not true love. And so there is a strong need here to fulfill your emotional needs with whatever means possible, be it through food, writing, journaling, talking to somebody, whatever it is, whatever love language it is. Relationships and self-worth, maybe your relationships and your sense of self-worth may be affected in a negative way, or maybe you're not feeling a strong sense of self-worth at this time. It's important to find ways of grounding yourself at this time as well. Now, the card that I chose for this particular day is water in the reverse position. So I'm going to read to you the essence of the card from the guidebook here. Let me just find it. Okay, this is what it says, the essence. Water symbolizes purification, regeneration, birth, revival, and cleansing. It signifies an evolutionary shift from former self to new self. Many myths around the world speak of a great flood and the new life that is revealed after a deluge. Water begins without boundaries. Then, as soon as form has separated itself from water, it comes under the laws of time and life, thus acquiring limitations. So at this time, you were being invited to consider, have you been cutting off or dismissing your emotions on one hand, or on the other hand, have you been too swamped in your emotions that you can't see to get any perspective on it, that you're not viewing it objectively like I talked about before? So are you too caught up in the emotions, or are you too cut off from your emotions? That's worth looking at. This is about cleansing unwanted energy and sticky feelings. Whatever you need to cleanse, now's the time to cleanse yourself. Being it taking a shower, getting off social media, maybe it's getting away from people, going inside your bubble and doing meditation, doing self-worth, sitting with yourself, um, and your feelings, that kind of thing. And so this can also be looking at the timeless, non-ordinary reality which we live in, where creation exists. Um, so in this reality, creation exists in this way. And this is a time to regenerate ourselves, being on an emotional or mental or spiritual level, to form regenerations, to let go of old stories that don't work for us anymore, or don't resonate for us anymore, and regenerate. This is also about going through the emotional process, going through the process of it, doing the healing work that's necessary. It's not going to be an overnight quick fix. It's not going to take 2 hours, or maybe it'll take months and weeks and days for you to be healed and for you to be transformed and integrated. But if you start today and you make little steps forward, little baby steps forward, you can get so far with that. And my battery's running low. So I wonder why. Let's see. That should be happening. So, it's important to go through this process and do the work that you need to do, even if it's hard, even if you don't want to do the work. Now's the time to do that work. So I hope that you found value from this video. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in another video. Bye, everybody.